Hello, this is Susan Duclos with All News Pipeline. It's May 28th, 2017. This is a article I wrote on May 27th. The professor, Eric Clanton, the Berkeley professor, who put on a mask, the headgear, the face masks, and attacked people on April 15th at a Patriots Free Speech rally with a bike lock called a U-lock. He's been arrested, and we have the criminal complaint here, which shows that he's being charged with 4 counts of felony assault with a deadly weapon and 1 misdemeanor, which is, I believe, the face mask to evade identification while committing a crime. Now, evidence that was found, well, we'll go over that in just a little bit, but it included selfie. He decided to take himself wearing the same clothes that he attacked people in. Guy is a professor for Berkeley, and he doesn't even have the smarts to know that after he was exposed, he should probably get rid of the evidence. So let's take a look at the complaint here. You'll notice a lot of penal codes are put in here. They named the first 2. They named the first 2 victims. Sean Stiles was one. He was the one that the video that went viral where he was standing there talking. You could see the back of his head, and in front of him you could see Clanton come up and hit him with a bike lock, and then they treated him. He was all bloody, and the video's in this article here, so you can see for yourself exactly how much damage he did to this guy before he was taken away to the hospital. Now, all 4 charges stem from that April 15th. It was supposed to be a Patriots Free Speech rally, and these guys showed up with their masks and their sunglasses, all in black, and, started attacking people. Well, this guy was busted by the members of 4chan, who they started doing facial recognition stuff, and they managed to uncover this guy's identity. And he went dark for a while. He supposedly hired an attorney. Evidently, he didn't hire him because, as we'll get into down below, he's being represented pro bono by a man who admits he works for a lot of progressive organizations. So, what do we have here? The first charge is a felony assault with a deadly weapon against Sean Stiles. A special allegation. Now, remember, the counts are the felonies. The special allegations they're just like supportive here. It's further alleged in the commission of the above offense that he personally inflicted great bodily injury upon Sean Stiles. And then the offense is serious felony, violent felony, within the meaning of the Penal Code sections 1192.7 C8 and 667.5 C8. We'll go over what those mean and why this is a big deal. And after we go over this, the second count is against a man named Frank Karchich. Evidently, he hit this guy too. He hit 4 people on that day with that bike lock. Third count, they're naming these 2 victims, John Doe 1 and John Doe 2. So as you can see, we have 4 separate counts here. This is embedded in the article. The 5th count is a misdemeanor, wearing a mask to evade identification in the commission of a crime. Like I said, this is embedded. The link will be in the description box. Sorry, I haven't had enough coffee here. Now, when you look at this part here, I know you probably can't read it, but we go over it down below in the article. What they found during the searches, they obtained a search warrant for his residence in San Leandro. Now, he had 2 residences, a newer one in Oakland and one in San Leandro. Now, in the first search, What they found was evidence at the home associating Clanton with anti-fascist and anarchy political groups. The anti-fascist group is Antifa, who call themselves anti-fascists, yet they use methods of violent suppression against free speech, which is a fascist tactic. So besides that, in the second one where they arrested him in Oakland, they obtained another search warrant, and what they found: flags, patches, pamphlets, indicia at the home associating him with anti-fascist and anarchy political groups. Furthermore, they also found U-locks, sunglasses, a glove, jeans, facial coverings consistent with those possessed worn by Clanton during the assault on 415. He was arrested and booked. They also said they tried to get his side of the story. He invoked his rights to an attorney. During the booking process, a tattoo was photographed on him, an iron front, which is associated with anti-fascist circle. They also recovered photos from a camera recovered from Clanton's San Leandro address. The photos show Clanton taking photos of himself, selfies, wearing black clothing and facial coverings consistent with those he wore during the assault on 415. Additional photos show him posing next to anarchy symbols. Now, let's take a look real quick at the penal codes before going over to another story. Here I do link to all of them so you can all read and see that everything I'm saying, quoting, is correct. 245A, any person who commits an assault upon the person of another with a deadly weapon or instrument other than a firearm shall be punished by imprisonment in the state prison for 2, 3, or 4 years, or in a county jail for not exceeding 1 year. Now, in the next one, they say any person who personally inflicts great bodily injury on any person other than an accomplice in the commission of a felony or attempted felony shall be punished by an additional and consecutive term of imprisonment in a state prison for 3 years. So what they're trying to do, this is 4 counts. If he's convicted and if they give him the maximum sentencing, you're talking 4 times at least 3, that's 12 years just for these charges. And more can come up because he has been associated with other protests as well. Now, 2 of the other penal codes that are listed in the complaint are basically just the legal definitions of violent offenses and serious felony offenses. In the second count, the reference to Penal Code 1170H3 indicates that any prison term must be served in a state prison instead of the local county jail. Clanton pled not guilty to all charges. Now, I just go over here. That's the iron front anti-fascist patch. This is just an example, but this symbol in here is evidently what they were what he had tattooed on him. There's also a video in here where after the arraignment, his pro bono lawyer basically got trolled. They were asking him questions, and then he decided to say that the people outside were waving KKK flags, but which pretty much was hilarious to the people because it was actually a Kekistan flag, or but and he mistook it, so they told him he got trolled. And then one person actually asked him, what was it? Yeah, if Clinton goes to jail, will this be the first time he moves out of his parents' house? They had a little fun. Safe Streets Project put out a statement. Like I said, all of this is here, but I want to take you over to one other piece here because what we're seeing are these people are starting to be prosecuted. Now, while the Trump administration, Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, really has nothing to do with these specific charges and these arrests and how they're throwing the book at these people. But if you remember over the last 8 years with Obama, the administration was never on the side of the police. They were always on the side of the protesters, or or appearing to be, always feeling for the protesters. In fact, anybody listening to this, can you remember one high profile case where they threw the book at one of the protesters over the last 8 years, like they're doing now? It's because they know they have the support of the government. It's a whole new ball game now. Let's take a look at this other one that we just saw too. This one's from Fox 5 DC. The March 4th protest that turned violent, where there was protests and they had a permit to protest, and a bunch of radicals decided to show up and start trouble and get violent. Well, four of them are being prosecuted, including the son of former Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Kaine. Prosecutors are filing criminal charges against 8 counter protesters who disrupted the March for Trump rally at the Minnesota state capitol on March 4th. Among those charged is Linwood Kane. They say here that the counter protesters, the one that came to start trouble, brought in pepper spray, tasers, and went after anyone with a Trump sign. Go down here. According to the criminal complaint, on March 4, 2017, a permitted rally took place at the Minnesota state capitol in St. Paul, Ramsey County. During the rally, protesters arrived at the capitol. Most were peaceful, but some, more than 10, were wearing face and head coverings, wearing goggles. Rally participants tried to physically block the stairs leading to the rotunda where the rally was taking place. Protesters pushed, shoved, trying to get down the stairs, then began employing smoke bombs, tear gas, aka mace, and fireworks. Several people identified in police reports had to be treated by paramedics due to the effects of the tear gas. A Minnesota state trooper observing the crowd from the west staircase saw Buckert spray several people with tear gas. He then ran up the stairs to the second floor. About 30 seconds later, the trooper saw him run back down the stairs, pushing through the crowd and punching people at the bottom of the stairs. So once again, we're seeing prosecutions finally against these violent thugs. And this guy, this professor at Berkeley that we were talking about earlier, make an example of him. Give him the maximum sentencing. Hopefully he will be convicted by a jury. Give him the maximum sentencing, and maybe some of these thugs will think twice about doing it again. Look, it is our constitutional right to protest peacefully. It even says peaceably in the Constitution, the First Amendment. They have the right to protest peaceably. But when they start coming there with U-locks and hitting people in the heads with them, people that have to, causing serious bodily injury, spraying tear gas, mace, punching, bringing baseball bats, that's when these people have to be put down. And I'm not saying put down. I'm not recommending killing anybody. I am saying you take them down, you convict them, you prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. And maybe others will learn. Protest peacefully, but don't start rioting and don't start trying to kill people. It's about time we're seeing these violent Antifa thugs taken to the mat. Thank you.